Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here today. We appreciate you joining me today, and kind of a interesting day, end of the week, first of the month, and so pleased to have you here. If you will, like, share, comment on the post, and then if you would join me in the second chapter of the book of Ephesians. We'll begin a new little section here in this chapter, beginning in verse 11. Paul says, "Therefore, remember that at one time you Gentiles in the flesh, called the uncircumcision by what is called the circumcision, which is made in the flesh by hands. Remember that you were at that time separated from Christ, alienated from the commonwealth of Israel, and strangers to the covenants of promise, having no hope and without God in the world." And Paul is telling his audience, remember what it was like before the cross. Remember what it was like before you met Jesus. He says you were, you Gentiles who were called the uncircumcision by the circumcision. Circumcision being the Jews, uncircumcision being the Gentiles. And he said at that time you were separated from Christ. You were alienated, and you didn't have any hope without God in the world. And we were in the same boat. Without Christ, we are far off and separated from God. And Paul again is describing the condition, the situation of the Gentiles, who at one point, verse 13, says you were far off. You were far from God. And he just reminds them of that and where they were during that time before the cross, that they had been completely separated from God. They were put off separate and no access to God, and because of the Jews. God had made the Jewish people his chosen people, but they were his chosen people with a mission. They had a mission to proclaim to the world who God was, that he was the one and only God, and they were to go out and to tell the world that message, and that he was planning to send the Messiah to save the world. But the Jews, we know, failed miserably at that task. In fact, not only did they not carry out the mission, they went to the other extreme. Not only did they not go tell the world about God and the coming Messiah, they actually kind of barricaded everybody out. And they became this arrogant, religious little clique. And so not only did they not go out, they barricaded themselves in. And again, they here they classified everybody else. You're either the circumcision or the uncircumcision, and so they put themselves in one group and everybody else in another group, and just said you are separated from God, go away, basically. And what a shame that the Jews, their religion, blocked other people from God. Where they were called to bring people to God, they actually again went to the other extreme. It'd be one thing if you just didn't invite anybody else to the Lord and tell anybody else about the Lord, but to actually go to the extreme of keeping them from getting there on their own or by some other means is really a sad statement about the condition and the attitude of the Jews. And Paul says here, at one time you were separated from Christ, strangers, you had no hope, and the Jews put up a barricade. The Jews put up a wall to separate man from God. And the sad thing is, religion today many times does the same thing. Religion is one of the biggest barriers to many people coming to know the Lord that there is. Religion oftentimes sets up systems and cliques and different things that cause other people to turn away and keep them from being able to come to know Christ. And what a warning for us this morning to be careful that our religion doesn't keep people from spirituality. Religion isn't going to save anybody. Religion doesn't do much for our salvation. It's knowing Jesus Christ. And so I want to challenge you today to look around your church. Look in the mirror and see, is our religion, our practices, our tradition, are we doing things with good intention, no doubt, but are we doing anything that might keep someone else from coming to know Jesus? It's a good question for us this morning. Hope you'll think about it. Have a great weekend. We'll see you here tomorrow morning.